Hey everyone, Ryan from thehomesteadconsultant.com. I'm out on my homestead today and I wanted to show you the rabbit hutch that we put together recently to give you some ideas. I think there's some really helpful, useful tips in here for things that you can do to make rabbit keeping a lot easier. Here is our rabbit hutch. I built this recently. It's a 4x8 structure. This allows me to use standard 2x, or in this case, at least the outside ones are treated, but they're a standard size 2x4 without much or really any waste. So a couple of things we've got going on here. One is that we have an open mesh front here. And a window on the side so that we can see the bunnies easily, but also so that they get a lot of airflow. Something to keep in mind with bunnies is that they overheat much more quickly than they get too cold. So I wanted to make sure that there's plenty of airflow and that we have insulation between the roof structure in them so that they don't get a lot of radiant heat from the sun during the day. And then if we need to, we could add like a heat lamp or a fan. There are solar fans that I've used in the past that work really, really well. They're direct solar, so they keep air moving when there's a lot of heat or a lot of sunlight. So a couple of simple things. One is I've got a full door on the bottom here. You can see you just undo this latch and the entire thing will open. There is patches, and I'm going to show you. It's a little hard to do while I hold the phone here, but I've got a prop there. So I've got a prop that comes up and kicks out, and I've got a little screw there to keep it from coming out. This is patches right now, and that's honey. Right now we're keeping pet rabbits, but part of what I'm doing this for is so that if we want to move to meat rabbits, we have some experience, and so far this hutch has worked out really, really well. So I'm kind of going over some of the basics. This is probably the best thing that we've done in this hutch, is that we've got one of the large concrete mixing trays that just slides in and out. So I can slide this in and out, and it's just on these kind of rails here. So I can pull this one out, walk it over to my garden and dump it. And when I pull that one out, I can take another one and slide it in so that the rabbits can't get out and they're not in risk of getting out. And the major thing about this is now they poop and pee down here exclusively. Bunnies, once they get used to where they're supposed to go, will use that spot. So I don't have to do the mesh floor. I really hate the mesh floors because not only do they get nasty and clogged up, so you have to actually clean them out. Rabbit pee is caustic and will cause the mesh or the hardware cloth to rust and degrade very quickly, and so you end up having to replace it fairly often as well. So this whole system means I don't have to do any cleaning up or really any work other than just taking that straight to my garden and dumping it. So it is a fantastic system. One thing to note is that rabbits like to poop and pee in a lower space. So if you give them a spot to hop down to, even if they don't get it immediately, they will eventually figure out that that's where they're supposed to go. And once one does, the rest will as well. So this is actually quite full. It's several inches thick of this. It actually needs to be taken and dumped. But really the only thing we do is put a little bit of bedding or wood chips or leaf mulch material in there, and that really, really helps. And we have this small door, so the getting in and out on a daily basis for the rabbits is easy. If the girls want to come in here and pick them up. Right now we've just been using these bowls for their food and water. I'm going to get a better, more permanent solution, but that's what we've been using so far. This box that we're using, again, that's also going to go to something more permanent like a wooden box, but that's called a hide. It gives the rabbit somewhere to go, either when they're scared or when they want to stay warm. But rabbits, since they're a prey animal, like to have a small space to stay in. So they'll sleep in there unless it's too hot out, but they really like having that hide. So making them a hide, a spot where they can get kind of out of the elements, where they're not seen, really makes them feel more comfortable, which is important even if you're keeping meat rabbits. You want your animals to be comfortable and happy, and provide them with as good a life as possible while you're caring for them. Another thing I've done is, this is kind of a breathable trash bag. It's a mesh, and so air can actually get through, and we've put it underneath this, underneath the hutch, so that it stays dry. And these are mulberry leaves. So I actually took a leaf blower with a vacuum attachment and blew it chopped up all the mulberry leaves and blew them into there. Those are a super high protein, I believe somewhere in the 20 to 25% protein dry weight meal for them. So we're actually supplementing with that. A large portion of their diet is coming from the mulberry leaves, and they absolutely love those. It's fall right now, later fall, and all our mulberry leaves fell off because of the freeze, and they were nice and dry and crunchy. And so, like I said, we vacuumed them up, stuck them in there. Using that vacuum system breaks them down so that you can fit about anywhere from 8 to 12 times the amount of leaves you could otherwise fit in a large bag like that into it. So running it through that, $40 leaf blower vacuum system that you can get at any store was really helpful. Another thing to mention is the big door that we have here. Really the idea is, if we want to clean things out, if we want to fully get in there, we're able to. Of course, you could stack hutches left to right and set them together. You could also have this door open from the top, and so then if you had them stacked, hutches stacked one on top of each other, you would have to open the door below the hutch that you're trying to get to, and you could pull out the tray that way. So it actually add a level of security where that tray is. So you could actually stack these hutches, if you did it right, one on top of the other. So you could probably get 3 that were accessible from the ground if you wanted to. We did this one the way we did because we wanted it really easily accessible. Since these are pet bunnies, I wanted my girls to be able to get to them, so that I didn't want them too high, I didn't want them too low. If they're meat rabbits, you might not care as much, so you could actually build 3 of these together, only have one roof, and have it be very, very functional. And then you could keep a full-time rabbit breeding program with just 3 hutches. So, and you might have one small cage for to keep a buck separate from your breeding stock. But yeah, our rabbits are really, really happy in here. We just give them some leaves and things as bedding, but not having that mesh has been, I think, really makes it much more comfortable for them, and much easier for me. And having this, this tub system where we can just take their poop and go right to the garden with it and not have to worry about cleaning anything out has been a tremendous benefit. So I hope that helps. Hope it gives you some ideas. If you want help, go ahead and check out thehomesteadconsultant.com. I've also got other resources there if you want to dig into kind of pre-vetted resources. I've got some of those on my website as well. So thank you for watching. I hope this helps.